Hello everyone, welcome to this video where I am going to explore your subconscious mind so that you can discover what it means to dream of finding gold, that in practice comes to symbolize the discovery of permanent wealth. In other words, a type of prosperity that only occurs when you achieve a certain degree of stability. Therefore, the question that I would ask you is what is causing you to not feel stability in your life? Well, that's what we are going to be talking about here. But before going into the analysis, in case you don't know me, let me introduce myself. My name is Robert. I am a psychoanalyst with more than 30 years of experience. And in case you want to have a psychoanalysis session with me, or in case you want the psychoanalysis of one of your dreams, you send me an email to the one that I am going to leave you here below in the description of this video, so I can tell you how you can join my consultation. Now, back to what it means to dream of finding gold. This is a very important dream because from the outset, it is revealing that you are going through a phase of your life where you feel that all your difficulties arise from the fact of not having stability, and above all, that those things that are important to you do not have the permanence that you would like them to have. And this is very interesting because it's telling me that your greatest anxiety processes arises precisely from the fact that you cannot coexist with that changing state of things. You are the type of person who is sure to feel much more frustration when experiencing unusual changes. Because if you think about it, this is precisely what is interconnected with the fact that you think when these challenges occur that you are the type of person who is never going to achieve the goals that you have set in life. And there is the key of all this matter. This dream is presenting itself in your subconscious because you have reached a moment in your existence where you feel very exhausted from not being able to fulfill your life goals. Because that is where the core of your psyche is that at this moment defines your state of self. And for that reason, your greatest unconscious desire arises precisely from longing for things to remain, to be maintained according to your designs. Something that unfortunately, up to now, you have never been able to achieve. And that explains why you go into states of frustration that cause anguish, anxiety, and that manifest as either anger or sadness, depending on how your mind is structured. But in that sense, it is healthy that you do not lose perspective, because in practice, very few people fulfill what they had set out to do in life. What happens is that you have a notion revealed by this dream that acts as a symptom that shows what is happening in your unconscious, in which you only consider yourself a valuable person and therefore someone worthy of exist when you fulfill what you have committed yourself to. I insist, with no one else, only with your own person. And this is a very difficult burden to carry, not only for you, but for anyone. Although I understand what happens to you, since in the present, people tend to show themselves on social networks as extremely successful. And this generates in all of us, and especially in you, who are so permeable to this issue, that everyone else gets what they set out to do, except you. And therein lies the core of all your frustration. This is unconscious. It is not that you realized that this was happening to you. You simply suffered the consequences of the movements that these energies of your psyche are generating in your mind. And therefore, nothing more and nothing less than in your existence. This is where the psychoanalytic process comes in, by means of which we release, redirect, and interconnect these energies of your psyche in your state of conscious self, so that you can have a more balanced life, in the sense that you do not become a slave to these forces. which arose in your first years of life and that were left in your mind without being developed. That is why people who dream of finding gold feel so happy, because if you look at it, in doing so, they achieve precisely in dream world what they do not have in their lives. That is, the fact of leaving behind all their states of anguish, because thanks to the symbolic figure of gold, they somehow feel that they will have a stable life, which is going to happen precisely thanks to the wealth they have achieved. Something that is explained since gold represents the type of wealth that is maintained over time. And not only that, but even over the years, as long as you have it by your side, it will return much more valuable. Since unlike money, gold increases your capital gain over time. And there is what it is telling you. This dream is a reflection of your unconscious, of the forces that are struggling to get out, but that also subject you to states of anguish because you do not know how to deal with these psychic energies. Since, on the one hand, you are a person who has been subjected to great pressure throughout his life to get everything he wants, but on the other, you have reached a moment when you want to simply let go. No longer depend so much on the plans to make, because in practice, they have never worked for you. And that is precisely what subjects you to your greatest states of guilt. Because all this is what is leading you to feel like a failure in life, because you have a yardstick to measure yourself, which is too rigid. And deep down, that what this dream is talking about. That somehow you want to forgive yourself, you yearn to accept, but you cannot, because throughout your life, no one learned to accept you, to value yourself, to love yourself, if you did not look at the goal that could make you see to others how to be worthy of consideration. And that is why all this is so traumatic for you, because it is so difficult for you to accept yourself as someone exceptional without having the need to show the tangible material achievements of your existence. Now, of course, all of this didn't start today. What happens is that you simply have in a moment of your life in which all this hatched. It was an energy of your psyche that for many years was in a state of latency, but now that it has matured in your unconscious, it is struggling to get out, but in that process, it is being repressed by your conscious self, which is the part of your mind that makes sure that you can adapt to the real world, so that you can coexist with the people around you. In fact, this dream reveals that you grew up in an environment in which demonstrable achievement was paramount. And that is why you were someone who was subjected to many pressures very early, because in all probability, you grew up in a family that structured all its relationships based on the proposition and achievement of objectives. They planned everything, so when you could not achieve a goal that your parents had set themselves for, one that even you had not chosen, this made you enter states of anguish and anxiety, which over the years you were repressing because consciously it helped you to adapt that circumstance. In fact, you apply that mental structure to all interpersonal relationships. You think that everyone values you if you fulfill the objectives that you set for yourself. You are someone extremely methodical, but it is precisely there where the Achilles heel of your psyche is. If you cannot achieve the objectives that you set for yourself, this subjects you to states of frustration that are too high. That is the psychic energy that we need to redirect. And ultimately, there is the explanation of why you are having this dream. Surely, in the days before this figure appeared in your subconscious, You experienced a situation in which you could not achieve what you had proposed. Before you would have solved it, as you always did, adapting, setting yourself another goal, sometimes even much more difficult than the previous one. But as you see this model now, it just doesn't work for you. As you can see, this is a much more complex dream than it might seem. So you have to pay close attention in case you see yourself in a dream finding gold. For the same reason, you already know that if you want me to psychoanalyze some of your dreams or have therapy sessions with me, you send me an email to the one that I leave you below so that I can tell you the way in which you can integrate to my consultation. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video if it helped you in any way, and share it so that others can access to this kind of knowledge. Have a wonderful day, and with it, the most beautiful dreams. Bye!